But this is not how you do it.
You don't belong here.
Why? I paid to be here. I think I belong to be here.
If you are a disruptor, we don't want you at the conference. You can get a refund. Give me a call.
I can get a refund?
I'm going to call 911 right now.
You guys complain. You complain.
I'm Senior Vice President of Corporate Development for CoreSite. CoreSite is a co-location data center developer and operator.
It is so great to have data center executives here today, since they seem to skip out on town halls where the community that they're going to be poisoning is attending. So we had to come to your conference today.
Can I interrupt for just a second? I respect you. I respect
and
you.
let them know
I respect
that they
you,
need
and
to talk to
I
the
respect your
communities
time.
that they're going to be
And I'm
devastating
happy
with
to
their
give you a
buildings.
designation.
Your DE3 data center would give people asthma, cancer, and heart disease in what is already one of the most polluted communities in the United States.
These executives are absolutely disgusting. All they
This is
care about is
outrageous.
profit, while the world is going to burn. Future generations are going to suffer.
I'm going to call 911 right now.
I
bet you every one of them has a phone in their pocket. Every single one of them has a phone.
DE3 produces so much dirty energy in over 60,000 homes. Data centers kill! Communities pay the bill! Data centers kill! Communities pay the bill!
Look, guys, I understand you have a beef with it, but this is not how you do it.
You don't belong here.
Why? I paid to be here. I think I belong to be here.
If you are a disruptor, we don't want you at the conference. You can get a refund. Give me a call.
I can get a refund?
I'm going to call 911 right now.
All right, Shalom, Shalom. Barakatah Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rakakwadash. Double honors to our apostles, elder bishops here at Great Millstone. Shalom to you brothers that's pushing the work in truth with all sincerity. All right, name of this lesson is Crackdowns Are Coming and Soon. Okay, crackdowns are coming and soon. Okay, so what we've been seeing a lot of is a lot of uproars of the people. You know, a lot of protesting, even some light sedition. Okay, among these people against the authorities, against corporations. And the response to it is, of course, the haves. Okay, they're gonna tighten their grip of control, and they're gonna bring a lot more restrictions. They're gonna bring, more legislation against the average day, everyday person. Okay, you got people protesting data centers, getting arrested. They're going to these events that these billionaires are holding. And yeah, and they protested, man. They're disrupting. Okay, and that's what they're gonna be called. People are gonna be pretty much called disruptors, man. All right, and they're gonna make it. Of course, they're gonna be able to control the narrative, and and yeah, man. A lot of stuff I can't put into words right now, but I mean, if you see, I mean, if you know, basically, okay, and yeah, the haves versus the have-nots, man. The rich versus the poor, and it's only gonna get worse for the poor because they're gonna bring in certain security measures, and the justifications are already there. People burning down warehouses, people going to these different events, protesting, disrupting, what the rich, the elite got going, because people become more angry. And that's obvious. People pissed because they finding out the truth. They finding out their leaders are corrupt. They finding out that, the rich corporations, they don't care about the environment. People are suffering, and it's only about to get worse, Just watch, because and it's important to pay attention because, I mean, yeah, on many different levels, this will affect us. All right. Especially if, if you're speaking against, the power structure, okay, and they're gonna they're gonna make it seem like the people are the problem. Um, but yeah, this was all expected, you know. Soon enough, at these different workplaces, again, speaking on these security measures or security justifications, because of the violence from the poor, the reaction from the poor because of the different things that the rich are doing. Okay, they're gonna bring in certain systems that's going to pretty much cut all of you know the dissent. All right, so I'm not gonna be long because we understand what's going on. The people are divided at every level. Um, man, it's a lot. It's a lot in store for this place, man. Civil unrest, sedition, and crackdowns. The powers that be are gonna crack down on the poor. You know, and yeah, this was slated, man. So let me start with this one. I didn't actually get it yet, but let's see here. Uproars of the people. Okay, and the scriptures deal with that. Let me see. Where is it at? Okay. Second Ezra 9, and I started one. Okay. He answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself, and that's essentially what we're doing. And when thou seest part of the signs pass, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Okay. So we know there's an inquisition of the wicked. The Lord is seeking out, the works of the wicked, revealing the wicked. The Lord's righteousness is kind of, is bringing equity to the world. All right. And eventually it's going to start wiping out the wicked. It's going to start attacking the wicked in such a way. Okay. And it's going to be unconventional. What I mean by that is it's not, it's going to be not what you expect, you know. Um, well, the scripture, pointed out, spirits created for vengeance, scourges, punishments coming upon the earth in that type of way. That's what I meant. Okay. So it's unconventional to the average person, but we know this is regular, you know, uh, and the Lord is known for his judgments. All right. So you're definitely going to know it's the Lord doing these things. Okay. But of course, the average person wouldn't understand that. All right, that's why you got the prophet to, connect the spiritual to our, our this world. All right, I'll say it like that. So it says, "Then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made." Okay. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, right? Then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. So this was foretold. All right. Everything that we're seeing is foretold. And it's supposed to bring comfort to those who believe and truly understand what's going on. All right. This is the transition. We're in a transition within this age because this age is coming to an end. And the way it's coming to an end, it's one of the things that's going to happen. All right, you're going to see a divide. You're going to see uproars. All right, you're going to see people fighting against the power structures, systems, and all of that type of stuff. And then, also, one of the big things is that you're going to see these systems fight against the people. All right, which that's going to bring a time of trouble. all right, that we've never seen, all right. And we're told to be prepared. Of course, knowledge and wisdom shall be the stability of thy times. We understand, and the biggest thing to take from this is the understanding from what we were, what we received by way of his words, comforting words, letting us know that everything was going to, pretty much be okay for the believers, you know. So moving on, it says, for like as all that is made in the world hath a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest, all right, meaning it's clear, okay. Even so, the times also of the highest have plain beginnings in wonder and in powerful works and endings and effects and signs. And that's what we're seeing. We're seeing the effect of the words that was spoken beforehand, okay, and the signs, all right. So we're close, man, all right. And everyone that shall be saved and shall be able to escape by his works and by faith whereby ye have believed, all right. And the main thing is, we're gonna need help in this time, okay? And those who are doing the works, the fruitful works of the Heavenly Father, all right, are gonna be saved. These things are gonna, essentially save us. These works, okay? So let me jump here, all right. Second Ezra 9:20, it says, so I considered the world, and behold, there was peril because of the devices that were come into it. Now, peril is essentially simply danger. Okay. Let me get the etymon on mine. All right. Peril is danger. Okay. And that's what we're faced with. All right. Because it's not a cakewalk. It says through much tribulation shall we enter into the kingdom of heaven. Now, this lesson, we focusing on the average day people. It's not going to affect us like it's going to affect them. It's going to affect us. All right. Then no doubt about it, it's going to affect us. Okay. Because of the stance we take against oppression, against certain powerful systems of oppression. Okay. So it's uh, it will have, an alteration, or it will alter our lives in such a way. But the just shall live by faith. Okay. So it's not going to affect us like it's going to affect the average day person, all right, who is slated for judgment. Okay, simply. All right. So peril, danger, risk, hazard, jeopardy. All right. Livelihood being in jeopardy, your life being in jeopardy, exposure of person or property to injury. Okay. Because that's what's going to ensue these crackdowns, and which is coming, man. It's going to come on a level that people, you thought people were mad now. People are really going to be mad because they're going to lock people out of, you know, um, being able to sustain their own well-being. And that's why it's going to get dangerous. That's why we're talking about a time that we've never seen before. We know the elite are allocating all the resources to themselves. And, you're going to have to bow the knee, all right, to get such, the sustenance, all right. And they've been pretty much playing, against, they're going to use desperation, your own desperation against you. Okay. And yeah, it's going to be, it's going to be a, pretty much an unfair game. All right. But ultimately, we know that the Lord has the back of his chosen. Okay. Because of the works that we're doing. All right. So, and the sign of crying against, the wicked. All right. So the word here for device, all right, as the scripture says, so I consider the world, and behold, there was danger or peril or, lives being put in jeopardy because of the devices that will come into it. We're here for device is intent, okay? Desire, all right? And that this is the elite ruling class, their intent, their desires, because it doesn't benefit the rest of society. It kills the environment, it kills expectation, it kills the future for the the average everyday person, right? It says an express intent or desire, a plan or design. You see, and their plan and design is not beneficial for the average person, and their plans and design is a threat to nature, is a threat to life itself. Okay, as we can see, that's why people are protesting. That's why the uproars are coming. But we know that's what's supposed to happen in this age, at the back end, or the downfall of this age. This is the this is the end of it. So there's going to be a lot of turmoil. All right, there's going to be a lot of things taking place at the end of this age. All right. So here is the division, separation, disposition, wish, desire, coat of arms, emblem. Yeah, so I mean, it goes on and on. All right, it says here, arranged or arrangement, plan, contrived, right? So what the elites have planned, this is bringing danger into the world. This is making this place a very dangerous place, okay? And there's more danger because it's more crackdowns. All right, it's going to be more crackdowns, and this is definitely it's going to lead into the beast. This what surrounds this whole thing. All right, what the planning of the elite, their devices is the beast system. Okay, then them setting up control, a system of control where they have control of your very life, and the prosperity. Okay, all right, because we know Esau he's this ain't this is very devious. It's very sinister. Ultimately, the their agenda in full scale. Okay, they don't they want a dystopia for the people. They want depopulation. All of these ideals, right, is bringing danger to the world. Okay, as we know, their plans are uh, very open, for people to see. Okay. And Revelations 12:12, therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, and for the devil, is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. Okay, so he's coming down with great wrath because ultimately he knows a change, it's a shift coming. Right, he's at the end of his age, and according to prophecy, right, which they have sought out too as well. Okay, um, they know that their time is going to be cut short. Okay. All right. This is Job. All right. Just to prove that. Job chapter 14, verse 5. It says, seeing his days are determined, the number of his months are with thee. Thou hast appointed his bounds that he cannot pass. Okay. So the Lord has what? He's determined the time, all right, in which, you know, the ruling class is going to rule. Okay. He's determined a time for them. Okay. And let's see here. Sirach 10. And they know this. The elite know this. All right. And they have to move in such a way. All right. So they can maintain and keep their legacy going. This terrible legacy of theirs going. So Ecclesiasticus 10:4, the power of the earth is in the hand of the Lord, and in due time he will set over it one that is profitable. And so they're not profitable for this earth. So and they know it, because their plans are very covetous and very harmful. Okay. And they know that the Lord, he's not having it. All right. So Sirach 10 and 8, it says, because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another. Right. And so they're moving in such a way where they can still maintain their control systems, ultimately sever mankind away from God by way of their control grid, or the MOTB. All right, their mark, okay, which is that charagma. All right, the RFID chip. All right. Why is earth and ashes proud? There is not a more wicked thing than a covetous man. All right, for such an one setteth his own soul to sell, because while he liveth, he casteth away his bowels. And that's what you see when you see corporate greed. All right, when you see these Edomites and how they ruling is covetous. All right, they're envious of people's prosperity. They're envious of people's happiness, and they want to sabotage people's happiness and bring people into a perpetual, sort of hell. All right. Okay. So let's see here. Yeah, well, and one thing I wanted to mention too is they'll be able, because of the uproars, they'll be able to justify certain security measures. Like, imagine an AI powered surveillance systems in all warehouses and all workplaces of like logistics. And I was listening to that guy. We call him the white Malcolm X, and he was pretty much breaking it down on how the elite is going to respond to the uproars. Okay, and they're going to set up these systems of surveillance, and it's going to change a lot. It's going to be the ultimate crackdown on people. So anyone that's bringing dissent, anyone that's bringing a complaint, you know, they're going to make life miserable. You see, and what these people are slated for that. Okay, and it's going to change the world. It's going to change how how we live life. All right, but again, our our thoughts is for the world to come, not for this world. All right, and we were told to cut this world off. Okay, we were told to cut this world off. Yeah, so we were told to cut this world off, and so we won't be essentially taken down with it. You know, and this is why people they're gonna lose it, because they're not gonna have any hope. A lot of people are losing it because that in their minds we're screwed. There's no hope for the future. you know all right, and the only future is the for this age. All right, for this current rulership, this current society, is damnation and complete and utter you know destruction. Okay, so we're told to get our minds, basically, essentially set our houses in order, I believe. you know Second Ezra 14:13, it says, now therefore set thine house in order. Okay, what does that mean? All right, that means you got to set a different precedent. All right, we don't we're not motivated by the rewards of this lifetime. We're pilgrims. We know that this stay, we're not going to be able to raise kids in this environment, in this society. So we know that there's no future in this place. Okay. So we're setting our house in order, firstly, through the mindset, our minds. And we're looking for the promises and the rewards that essentially that the Lord had promised, which a new heaven and a new earth. Okay. A new heaven and a new earth. Let me just get that. Okay. And I ain't gonna be long. I ain't gonna be too much longer. And we, pretty much made my point. Isaiah 59. No. Isaiah 65. All right. I'm gonna just put this on. This up here, and I'm gonna go back here. 2 Ezra 14:13. Now therefore set thine house in order and reprove thy people, meaning correct them, right? And essentially we correct them, by way of implanting, the Lord's mind in them, all right, casting down strongholds, and uplifting the standard in which is acceptable in the eyes of the Heavenly Father and his Son, Yahweh Shai. All right, Yahweh, why Yahweh Shai? Okay. Comfort such of them as be in trouble, and now renounce corruption, because corruption is being made, there's an inquisition being made of corruption, right? There's corrections that's coming upon the earth to bring a betterment, all right, as it says in 2 Ezra 16 and 19. Okay, so we got to roll with what's right, okay, and don't get left. So it says, let go from the mortal thoughts, okay, the fleshly thoughts, okay, carnal thoughts, all right. Cast away the burdens of man, put off now the weak nature, okay, and that is the primitive mindset, the faithless mindset, because the hope is for a better place, a righteousness, which here is Isaiah 65:17. For behold, I create new heavens and a new earth, and the former shall not be remembered, nor come into mind. Okay. All right. So the Lord says he's going to create a new rulership. All right. And a refurbished or refreshed earth. Essentially, that's what that's going into. But be ye glad and rejoice forever in that which I create. For behold, I create Jerusalem a rejoicing, and her people a joy. So the Lord is going to make over his people. All right. We're no longer going to suffer. All right. We're going to live in righteousness. We're going to live in happiness, and we're going to have we're going to have a future. Okay. This is what the Lord had promised. Okay. And we're supposed to look to that. Okay. But in this life, what our spirits are constantly pressed down because of the stress, not knowing when your next meal coming or it's coming, not, having full, or being fully assured. Okay. So let go from the immortal thoughts, cast away the burdens of man, putting off now the weak nature. Okay. So people are so worried about and so stressed out about making it in this world, and you're not supposed to be. You're supposed to let this shit go. And set aside the thoughts that are most heavy unto thee, and haste thee to flee from these times. So in right now, what you're supposed to be doing is what? You're supposed to be leaving this shit all behind. Okay. And looking to the future, a promised future, because the world that we live in, right, is not sure. It's not a sure thing. There ain't no future, as we can see. You know, the elite Edomites they're just only bringing systems of oppression and you know, expanding their control, ultimately to dominate your soul and to weed you out. That ain't the world to live in. That ain't the world to live in. There ain't no hope in that. There ain't no prosperity and ain't no benefit in it. Right? So we are told to what? To flee from this. Leave all this behind. Now, we know we have to work, we have to live, you know, work to survive, work to eat, you know. Okay, but there's gonna come times where we're gonna have to lean on the Lord because all of those things are gonna be pretty much compromised because of, you know, Esau and his you know, I guess you could say the crackdowns, you know, for lack of better words. Verse 16, for yet greater evils than those which thou hast seen happen shall be done hereafter. And it's the same for our time. Okay. This is being told to Ezra. Okay. But this is we're gonna see even more evils than we see now. Okay. Yeah, man. It's gonna go from the uproars of people to civil unrest to civil war. You know, people invading one another. People, essentially the people at the bottom, and this is what the elites are planning to do to turn turn people against each other, and that's prophetic. We were told that was going to happen. Friends was going to turn against friends because the scarcity of resources, the scarcity of water, the scarcity of food. Right now is a crisis going on. All right, the unseen eye. There's a huge crisis going on, and people aren't paying attention to it. But it's going to be too late. The response is going to be way too late. You know, and you know, boy, you got people prepping, and all of that prepping. If you're not spiritually prepped, okay, you're going to be through. You're going to be through. If you don't have the right hope, you're going to be through. All right. So that was pretty much it on that, you know. So, you know, Lord willing, this was edifying, you know. Crackdowns are coming and they're coming soon. As we can see that, you know, the temperature, you know, of this place is only getting more hotter. You know, people are getting more desperate. Okay. So until next time, I say shalom. Keep the faith, man. Y'all, Bashem Yahshua Barakatah.